live.
There's no question. Well, wait for a second. Let's see if we can get some people to join in if we can. Whoa! Easy. Easy. Is it working? No. Kelsey, can you hear us?
Test. We got a few people coming on. Can you see it? Can you hear it?
Does it sound okay?
Is it good?
Yeah, it's behind.
Oh, okay. Maybe it is working. I don't know, guys. We're figuring this out. So
right.
We're running with this. For those of you I haven't had the opportunity to meet, I'm Anthony LaForge. This is my brother from another mother.
That's right.
Zach Shelton, introduce yourself.
I'm Zach Shelton with Chosen Homes Group here at Keller Realty. And man, hello, we've been down for a while.
Yeah, we've been hanging out for a good while. But man, guys, we run into a ton of questions during the home buying process, whether it's being on the real estate side as a realtor or me on the finance side dealing with money. And we really just wanted to jump on live and just chat about it with you guys. And so what we did last week is we sent out a video asking about questions.
We wanted your feedback because we wanted to know the questions that you're asking, not just the things we're assuming that you wanted to know. We wanted to dive deep into our followers and to the people who watch us and ask what are the questions that you want to know about the home buying process.
So we got quite a few of them. So our goal is we're going to try to run through all of them. Chances are that's not going to happen, but we're going to run through as many as we can. We don't want to be here all night long, so we just want to answer as many questions as we can. We have already got questions from you guys that we're going to have on the screen. So yeah, let's you want to go ahead and get rolling?
Thank you to everyone that took time to submit questions. Your feedback is what made this possible in the first place, because again, all the questions we've been asked, we got together going like, okay guys, we got to put something out there for you. And these are the questions, these are from you. And
yeah, let's jump into it. I think this first question is great for why we're doing this in the first place.
Yep.
And so, I mean, question number one is, where do we even start? I get asked this all the time. Man.
Yeah. I mean, I went to lunch with a client the other day, and their whole question is, where do we begin? How do we even start the process of even buying a home or searching a home? Everyone automatically assumes to go to their bank. What would you say about that, going to their local bank? Because that's one of the first things I hear.
For me, it's most of the time, I'm always going to push that they start with us. Mainly because we want to walk you through the process. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But we want to make sure that you're approved for the house. There's no sense for you to be shopping for a $500,000 property and you have a $300,000 budget.
That's a real disappointment to go pre-shopping for a home and not know your budget. That's a very dangerous pitfalls. You want to know how to make your spouse mad? Show her a house you can't give her.
Pretty much, but no, I think that's a good place to start. What I would recommend is figure out, before you step into the financing side of things, I would recommend that you set up maybe like a list of things you're looking for in a house to begin with. Have an idea.
Proper priorities list.
Connect to your favorite real estate agent. Shameless plug here. Connect to a realtor, and then that realtor most likely is going to connect you with their go-to lender. This is huge because communication, you'll watch it. Unfortunately, it's a nightmare in our industry, but we'll watch people, lose a deal just because there is a lack of communication. So the lender that you recommend, it's always important that you're trusted. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, communication is one of the biggest things that we find, and especially during the early stages is some of the most important stages while getting qualified. You want the lender to call you back. You want the lender to communicate, because sometimes you only got one chance at a house and it's off the market. It's gone just like that. And don't let it be because your lender didn't communicate.
Yeah, and communication is huge too because of deadlines. You know, before we even jumped onto this call, we had a deadline that we had to meet by 5 o'clock. And so it's like, hey, we need to submit this offer by 5. We need to know what numbers look like based on this. I know I'm going to digress because we have other questions, but it's definitely a good place to start. I would personally say connect with your agent, let them connect you to their trusted lender, and then you just run from there.
Yep. Go have coffee with a realtor and make sure you get started on the right track, guys.
So what we got? Question number 2.
Question number 2 is, how much can I afford? That's a good one.
You want me to take this?
Well, everyone shoots for the moon, but you got to stay in your financial lane. You have to really reel yourself back in from unrealistic expectations of what you can afford and that debt to income ratio. Yeah. But how would you say someone can easily predict or estimate how much can they afford?
So I'm going to change the question slightly.
Because hang on. Because with all these new vehicles, did you know that for every $50,000 in car loans, you lose $200,000 in home purchasing power?
I would, yeah. I mean, one of the biggest debts we see as a lender is that stops people from buying houses are car loans. Yeah. But we won't jump in there. But where I'll start, how I would change this question from how much can I afford to what is my budget? This means you're going to sit down with yourself or your significant other, go over your budget, what it looks like for you to purchase a house. And what you're looking for is, what is my budget allow me to pay without breaking the bank? Because just because I can get you approved for this $500,000 house doesn't mean you want that payment. Yeah, you don't want mean you should. And so the big thing is and I preach this to all of our clients. You want the house to be a blessing, not a curse to you. So the way we avoid that is figure out, before you even speak to the lender, what that number is for the monthly payment. And then the lender will hand tailor the loan to you for that particular, what am I trying to say, for that particular property or that payment. And then it gives you your purchasing price. Especially in this market, you know, you might want a $2,200 payment, but buying a $500,000 house, they just don't work. And so know your budget, know what you're comfortable paying, and then that will determine your purchasing price. So
calculate that budget on your income and expenses, and then don't forget, if the home is larger, the utilities go up just a little bit more. People don't take that into consideration. So
we just segue rabbit hole real quick. Reagan and I just spent over $600 on our bill for electric, and if you are a solar salesman, just leave me alone. But I have some friends that have a solar business.
So email Anthony LaForge at Trinity.com. Another plug.
Yeah, but man, yeah, you're right, 100%. The bigger the house, the bigger the bill. You know, yep. But when it comes to how much can I afford, I would say let's change it around to what does my budget look like, and that will help me determine how much house I can actually afford.
But don't let it scare you either. If you're renting, you're already paying 100% interest.
That's true. That is true. So question, what was question number 3? We're making good timing.
I think I get text this one on a daily basis, or asked at the gym all the time.
When do you think the housing market's going to crash? I want to hear your opinion about this, and then I'll share mine.
Man, everyone thought it was going to crash, 6 months ago, 3 weeks ago, 2 years ago, 18 months ago, and it's still nowhere near that. In the DFW Metroplex, we're nowhere near that.
Yeah.
This has been one of the most solid areas with job growth, companies moving here. I mean, you name it, the GDP, the growth. I'm messing up acronyms right now, but everybody's coming to Texas, and everyone thinks the market's going to crash.
Yeah,
I don't see that happening here anytime soon at all.
I don't think we're going to see like a crash from 2008, 2009, when they immediately think housing crash, housing bubble, that's where we're going. I don't think that's going to happen. And the reason why I say that is because it's basic economics, okay? You got supply and demand. And in the DFW area, and we are local to DFW, so this is my backyard, this is what I'm gonna talk about, but I have people calling all over the nation, and there's a mass exodus from their state coming into Texas.
We just helped a couple move from Arkansas here.
Yeah.
And they were just accepting a new job at a church, and everyone's.
And so, but that plays a huge role because your inventory is still not where it needs to be. See, in 2008, a little history lesson, 2008, 2009, inventory was bonkers. We had a ton of it. The issue is now is we don't have enough homes.
There's zero.
There are a ton of people that are actively shopping for houses. We are still closing loans. You're still closing houses, but there's a low inventory here in DFW.
So another plug, if you're on the fence about wanting to sell your house right now is a perfect time to sell your house because inventory is low, so that can drive up your home, especially if your home has very unique qualities, the outdoor oasis, the fire pits, everything that guys like us are looking for in a backyard. You may be sitting on a gold mine right now, especially when inventories are low.
It's definitely a good time to downsize, right size, figure out what's best for you and your family. But ultimately, I don't think that we're going to see like a big crash. I hope you don't.
It's going to crash tomorrow.
I hope not. I would probably be.
I had someone try to tell me that yesterday because they said they watched the news.
Yeah, let's steer away from that. But yeah, guys, honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. DFW is a very strong market, and you have to realize when we have individuals who are moving from out of state that are selling their property out of state for like 1.2, 1.5 million, aka California, and moving to Texas, they're paying cash, if not financing a small amount of the house. And dude, they don't care about interest rate or anything like that. And I want to talk about this for a second because there's a lot of clients that I run into that they are on the fence waiting for the interest rates to go down. And I think we have someone that asked this question. But they're on the fence waiting for interest rates to go down or for the housing prices to go down. And what I'm afraid of is they're going to be waiting for a while. And if interest rates do go down, they're going to get bombarded with competition. And then, I'll say this, and I wonder if you agree with this, but this is the perfect market for a first-time home buyer.
Oh, it's absolutely.
Just because of that competition.
Yeah. If you can afford to buy a house right now or think that you can, let's go have coffee and talk about it because you're not competing as hard as you would when interest rates drop. You're going to compete with everybody and their mom and their son again. And why do that when you can afford now and maybe get some things from a seller, maybe get some concessions, maybe lower down those closing costs or buy down that rate. And you want to make sure that you marry the house and date that rate because you can get the house you want to now. It's not going to be there later. Yeah. And when you're not competing, and especially when people's egos with that competing, they think they're getting a deal. It's all about the deal.
But in reality, I'm not spending a whole lot of money on this house that isn't worth it. And so it's just about making a sound investment. But to answer your question on when this bad boy is going to go kaput, I don't think it's tomorrow. If you are in a good position to buy a house, I would recommend you buy the house. Yes, this is what we do for a living, but in all honesty, guys, buying real estate is the fastest way to build your generational wealth. I think you should definitely try to do it. And so let's roll into, this is you, this ain't me. Do I need a real estate agent? I have my opinion on this.
Do I need a real estate agent? 100% yes all day. I mean, you want someone that's out there representing you in the transaction. You don't want to be handling that yourself with no knowledge and no experience, or that I bought a house 26 years ago from my brother's cousin's friend and I know how to do this. No, the agent is there to represent you and take care of you and give you their honest opinion.
You know, one of the big things about hiring a real estate agent is buying a house is extremely emotional.
It is.
And I think you guys are kind of the anchor in that situation to where it's like, we're going to just hold you solid to, we're we're not emotionally attached to the purchase of this property like you might be. So our judgment is going to be somewhat sound compared to someone who is, running based off of their emotion when it comes to such a big purchase.
You want to get our expert opinion on what's going on in the market. What are the current market conditions? What's our marketing, strategy for selling a home? And there's just so many good reasons why you need a real estate agent during that transaction to represent you.
Yeah,
there's too many pitfalls, because I think we were on the phone the other day, and we hear the horror stories of where people are trying to fill out contracts and they don't know the first thing, and put the wrong address and see what happens.
Yeah,
and everything like that.
It seems like. Well, I just think there's a false narrative out there that agents aren't doing anything. There's no point for me to hire one, and that's absolutely false.
Bogus.
Because there is so much legality that goes on behind the scenes that you don't see that I don't know. And I'm in this industry. I'm just on the other side of it.
We spend hours in contracts classes going over the contracts and addendums and amendments to the contracts to stay up to date with all the current events going on and the changes that occur, because we're evolving and we're changing. And I just did a tip today. Check out the tips about how
shameless plug. Check out the tips.
Times change, AI, technology, everything changes around us. You want to make sure you have an agent that's ever evolving through the times and isn't just staying stuck in old rutted ways. And again, those agents are on your behalf. They're worth it. I know we can sometimes get a bad name out there, but that doesn't mean all agents are made equal, guys.
Yeah.
So definitely give agents a shot and opportunities to interview them. Don't just always go with the first one you meet. As much as we want that, that first interaction to meet. Yeah. But that hiring an agent is so huge. I mean,
it's big.
I can't speak on this enough, because I've had people come to us, or I had a phone call the other day, Saturday. Someone called me asking about their net proceeds from the sale, and their realtor didn't explain it to them.
Yeah.
And they're having a friend call me, and I can hear them in the background.
I think it just boils down to your
communication. It's poor communication, like we said.
It just boils down. And on the other end too, I mean, I'm a lender, but dude, I'm going to tell you, go shop. Go find a few other options. I'm confident in what we're able to do with our company, but at the end of the day, I might not be your cup of tea. And so it's important that you're going to go and vet out, hey, I'm going to talk to these 3 lenders. Yeah, I don't want you to do that, but I'm in it.
Just like I don't want you to interview other agents.
But it's the same thing, right?
Who's the best for the client?
Who is going to do the best service for the client? So to answer the question, do you need a real estate agent? Absolutely.
You find one that best services you.
Yeah.
Personalities matter big time when it comes to selecting agents as well. Personalities, attitudes, and communication.
Right on. I agree. So let's run on to the next one. What do we got on the next one? If we're there.
Do you think I should wait for interest rates to come down before we buy?
I think we kind of already answered this one.
But I did.
If
you're on the fence, guys, I would not sit around and wait thinking interest rates are going to drop. Again, another kind of horror story about someone that we know that they had an opportunity to buy a house a little over a year ago and lock in with a 4.5 interest rate, and they're still shopping, and now they're at a 7% interest.
I don't want to quote rates like that.
I'm saying they're fluctuating.
But there's a huge shift, and there's a big fluctuation. And here's the thing: if you can buy a house today, I would say go ahead and buy a house. If you can't buy the house today and you're stretching it,
then wait.
And every dollar counts. I would also encourage you, don't buy that house right just yet. Like, stay put, don't spend too much money, save money. But if you're in a position today to where, I'll just share this conversation that I had today actually. You are in a position to where, yes, you can buy this house. You can comfortably afford the payment. It checks the boxes. You can do this. If we fast forward into a interest rate, lower interest rate climate, with the amount of competition and as much as we have seen people pay over asking price, you cannot compete. And I hate to have direct conversations like that, but that is how the conversations are going today, because we've seen the 40 plus offers and 100K over, and I'm buying. Literally, I think the most exotic story I have seen or heard of is I'm going to pay off your kid's vehicle and then also buy you a new Tesla, and then we're going to buy your house for $100,000 over. Yep. That's nuts, yep. But that's what people were doing.
We had people offering to pay the property taxes.
And during the time, first-time home buyers, gone. There's no opportunity there because as a buying a house for the first time, it's tough, right? So
it is tough, but also buying a home should be a great experience.
100%.
For first time, whether you're a first-time home buyer, a beginning family, beginning newlyweds, older couple downsizing, really, it should be a great experience. You should be able to have time to make an educated decision on a home and not feel pressured with deadlines and highest and best due. I'm going to be living here. Why should I feel this huge amount of pressure and weight to make the largest purchase of my life, and then have guilt and regret?
Buyer's remorse.
The buyer's remorse that we call it. So
we refinanced a few deals, a few people out of deals where they had a buyer's remorse, where I bought a house because of the fear that I wasn't going to get one, and I went ahead and bought another one because it just wasn't for me.
So if I have a variable credit card, should I wait for rates to come down?
I think the better question is if you are renting and can buy right now, you're going to be paying 100% interest versus whatever interest rates are for you, whatever you decide to apply. So,
and rent prices only continue to go up. You can control your mortgage payment.
And I mean, and even speaking about that, as rents are shifting, they're not at a spot yet to where they're going to be side by side with the mortgage. There are some cases where I do see them that way.
They are very close.
But they are very close. And as soon as they overlap, I mean, dude, you're going to have a ton of renters that are even looking to buy that never even wanted to buy it. But it's more sound financially to buy. What I would suggest, if you ask this question, you're on the fence right now about buying, waiting on your interest rate, talk to your lender, call me if you want. We can discuss this and go over the pros and cons of buying today. And if it's a sound financial move for you, let's make it happen, right?
And if it's not, we're going to tell you it's not.
Yeah, I think that's huge.
We are never going to push you. I can at least speak for myself as a realtor and the experience I've had with you. We're never going to push you into a house that you can't afford, or into a situation that is just not right.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a servant's heart, and that's not the way that we should be doing it. But we will tell you, don't wait.
Yeah.
Now, as cliche as the whole, now is the time to buy. If now is the time for you, it's for you. Not everybody else. It may not be the time to buy for your sister, but it may be the right time to buy for you.
For you.
And especially, you have the job growth. Is where you're moving to give you more potential for job growth and opportunities and better situations for your family, better schools, better hospitals, better gyms, better whatever that you're looking for.
Yeah, I was talking to my aunt this past weekend, and we were discussing this topic because she used to be in finance. She's now gone and been retired, but she was talking to me about this, and I told her, I said, honestly, I just don't know what affordability is going to look like in 5 years from now. There's a lot of people that aren't going to be able to afford a house just because of the amount of money they make on a yearly basis. And if we don't see incomes increase across the board, housing might be a hard opportunity for you to.
It's going to be tough. We just had an individual come through us that on a fixed income.
Yeah.
What are they to do? When you're on a fixed income, you got to budget very carefully with what you're after. But hey, okay.
I think we're rabbit holes. We digress.
holes.
I think we
got a few minutes minutes left.
How much more do we got?
I think we got time for one more question.
What's our next question?
Oh, did I go past it? Yeah, I went past it.
Pre-qual.
Okay.
Pre-qualification. I'll just run through this real quick. What is the difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval? So hear me when I say this. Pre-qualifications are not bad, but they're as good as the paper they're written on.
That's right.
And what I mean by this is you as a buyer or as someone who is selling your house, you're looking for someone who is pre-approved. Pre-qualification from a lender standpoint means I can give a qualification out based off of all the information that Zach put on the application. Well, you could have put that you make $150,000 a year and never gave me any type of documentation to prove it.
No,
but legally,
he
only made 7. And legally, I can give you a pre-qualification. Guys, get pre-approved. What this looks like for you is I'm going to ask as a lender for income verification. I want to see bank statements. I want to basically vet everything that you put on that application and make sure that it all lines up. Then we submit you into what's called underwriting, which basically means we have another set of eyes besides myself and my team. They look at your file and say, yes, in fact, they are ready to rock and roll. They can buy a house. At that point, the benefits of a pre-approval, are 100 times better. It's going to make your offer look better. It's going to speed up the process. You go from a 25 to 30 day close to closing loans in 14 and 10 days, out of unheard of numbers, but you're able to just move quickly because here's the thing, you do all the hard work up front. And so that's the difference. Basically, one is vetted, one is not. But I would strongly suggest before you start shopping for a house to make sure you are pre-approved.
Yeah, because you don't want to get into the horror stories of having a pre-qualification letter, going under contract, and then finding out you cannot afford that home. And then not only did you waste option money, your earnest money could be possibly in jeopardy, depending on your agent and your lender and how they filled out the contract.
Yeah.
It can be very, very important. That's why, again, hiring a professional realtor matters. But the difference between the pre-qualification and the pre-approval, if I'm a listing agent and I have 2 different offers come in, and one of them is a pre-qual, someone who barely just filled out an application 20 minutes after an open house, versus, which please still do that, all day please do it, or versus someone else that has already gone through 2 underwriting and they're offering me a 14-day close compared to a 30-day close, and no documents have been vetted after I call that lender to make sure that that offer is verified and good. Well, we just realized that pre-approval, you taking those extra steps to submit your documents timely to your agent, to your lender, is the way better deal to go.
Yeah.
And then your listing agent shows that professionalism on checking both offers, and then the buyer's agent on the other side, the professionalism of getting that offer accepted by letting their client being transparent, hey, let's get you pre-approved and not a pre-qual. I know it took 20 minutes to fill it out, but please call Anthony back and let's get the rest of the documents submitted.
Yeah.
So that way we can get you in that home in 14 days or less.
And I want to add this to it, and agree or disagree, and then we'll cut it. The importance of finding the local lender rather than your internet provider. Someone that, because here's the difference with local, we've done enough deals locally to where we know a ton of agents, and so chances are we're going to know the person that's on the other side of the deal.
Very good.
So I think local is important. And
it's the very best way to go, because there was one here where I had a lender in California and another one where the client was in New York, and there's a 4-hour delay.
Yes.
And you have to wait till 3 o'clock and then it can be a whole huge nightmare of a mess.
Well, let's finish it up, man. So, guys, thank you for coming and hanging out with us. We plan on doing this again. We have a ton of more questions.
Yep.
If you have questions, we'll make posts about this and submit them to us. We'll love to answer them. We're going to plan on doing this periodically. probably, I'm thinking maybe once a month. Dude, I just like the vibe here. I think we might just start a podcast. You might hear us every single week.
We did the podcast.
You might be here. Hey, but as long as we can put the good Lord in it, I'm good, right? So, hey, you guys have a blessed night. Anthony LaForge, Trinity Oaks Mortgage. You can touch base with me here on Facebook. Call me. All my info is here. And then, Zach, you want to sign us out?
Oh, that's right. Guys, thank y'all so much for taking the time with us to be with us and watch this video. Share it, comment, let us know what you want, guys. I'm Zach Shelton with Chosen Homes Group, and y'all stay classy.
See ya. Let me turn this off now.